South Africa, members of the Diplomatic Corps, our Vice Chancellor, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to wish you a very good morning, and I have to present my apologies for starting late. NBC wanted to talk to me before we finish, because I understand they have other things to attend to. Hello, we're here, understand, until lunch, which starts at 12:15. And as we all know, there's no such thing as a free lunch. So you have to stay with us for quite a while to look into what we consider being something very important. Whatever we're going to do or we aren't going to do will have a bearing 10, 15 years down the road. Alors c'est très important. We have invited all the stakeholders. I just confirmed with our Cabinet Secretary. I have personally written to all ministries and all stakeholders so that we put our minds together to make sure that whatever decisions we take in terms of strategy, in terms of policy, are the right ones, or at least they have the best chance to be the decisions that we ought to take, so that in time we would be where we would like to be. So I've got a presentation. This is not my presentation. This looks like me, as it is done. What I want to discuss is, you'll see some slides which I like showing, and we'll go through that. There are 5 goals that we are trying to achieve here in this strategic paper. Une chose que je dois vous dire, right? You have to bear with me, I speak between English and French, and sometimes Creole as well. It's not now that we are deciding what the plan is, I must say. Much of this has already been installed, is in process, and a lot of it is here. It's not correct. So that's why we thought, let us write it down on a piece of paper, and let's talk to all experts. So we've talked to vice chancellors. I think since Mr. Morgan was here, we started the process. We have a new vice chancellor. We've talked to all departments. We've even had collaboration of the World Bank at some stage to see whether the methodology applied were the right ones, where they have some experience. Alors, qu'est-ce qu'on veut parler de cette part? Our goals, we believe, ought to be in terms of access and equity. Like we all know, I can see some familiar faces here. About 15 years ago, the University of Mauritius had only 2,500 students or so. Today, Vice Chancellor, you have about 12,000. I think it's very important. We have to give chance to our people. I was reading an article this morning in a newspaper, it was Thursday Weekly, where the lady referred to the millions of people who are studying overseas. So qu'est-ce qu'on va faire? We're going to limit ourselves when the whole world is in a race of getting the minds to a level where they can keep on increasing their GDP per capita and quality of life of their people. It is a must. Education, we firmly believe in this country, or in this government. But this is something that we have to make sure that gets into the households of everybody here in this country. Not only to those who are well endowed economically. Alors, access, equity is one of our first strategic goals. Secondly, quality and relevance. When I say one graduate per family, where was it that we said that it has to be of any quality? A policymaker doesn't affect the quality of what goes on in institutions. It's up to the regulator and institutions who have to make sure that we provide the right element, right ingredients, at the quality that we can afford, at the price that we can afford within the resources that we have. I will never, well, maybe in time, but not in my lifetime, I'll never be able to attract endowments like Harvard University. I'm well aware of that. But still, with the resources that we have to understand the process of quality. When we write a paper, we have to be able to compare ourselves with the next best guy in the world. Vous allez voir, we are in certain fields doing reasonably well. alors quality et relevance. By law now, our public institutions have to make sure that we take the issue of employability into consideration. Gone are the days where the minister will sign the blank check and we just do whatever we want. We have to make sure that we take charge of this process of employability. I'm not suggesting that we are just turning out graduates to the jobs only. But this is one aspect that we have to understand, that things are evolving. We have to take into consideration that whatever we're doing here, it has to be close to the clients. So now, it has been done in the past. The Vice Chancellor was pointing this out, but now it has become mandatory to have these committees. And after the end of a cycle, maybe over a year or so, we'll have what we call les assises de l'éducation, where we'll have to sit and discuss what is it that went right or wrong, and where is it that government needs to adjust to make sure that we are on the right track. Troisièmement, internationalization. If we want to be taken seriously in the field of education, it has to go international. Have a look at our textile industry. I remember the first days we started knitting t-shirts. I think you would all remember, if you bought a locally made t-shirt, if it was red or blue, whatever color, you wash it with your other garments, you turn all the other garments into red or blue. Parce que we used to make a local market. The quality wasn't maybe to that standard. I'm not suggesting that it's only when you do international business that you improve your quality, but it has an effect. Today, we sell 200 million garments all over the world, and nobody can ever point a finger at the level of quality of our textiles. And we've done that for 40 last years. Although we strongly believe that just the same as Oxford, Cambridge, Australia, South Africa, and India have internationalized their education system, we would like to be at par with these countries. That's très important. You would know yourself, there are lots of reasons why it is important. Quatrièmement, research and innovation. We are criticized that there is not enough research, but I will only say that I can only learn how to walk first, then I can run. So today, I can say safely that at our universities, we can provide just about any course that exists. Even nanotechnology, which is probably at the frontier of knowledge. Even in nanotechnology, we have some researchers at the University of Mauritius who have started having collaboration with people in South Korea and so on and so forth. So it's important to have a strong base of research and innovation. Et cinquièmement, governance and sustainability. Très important. We have to be sustainable in whatever we do. It's not how do you call it, flash in the pan or whatever. This is something that has to be sustainable, and if we do our calcul right, we stand a chance to be there. Otherwise, it would just Alors, I like showing this slide, les amis. Très important, parce que it's important that we look where we were and what is the potential for us to be. I know we spend a lot of time in, I wouldn't call it futile discussions, I mean, whatever gets said, etc. I wouldn't want to say that. But the fundamental thing here is a question that we have to ask ourselves. What is the difference between ourselves and somebody in Singapore and South Korea? Let's have a look at our history. There's not much difference between ourselves and Singapore. Mais Singapore is sitting on nearly 50,000, Monsieur Pandya, $50,000 for Singapore. GDP per capita, pretty close to that. What is the difference between the graduate that we produce here and somebody who gets brought up in England or in the United States? This is a fundamental question that we have to start asking ourselves. And this is the kind of debate I'd like to have. This is the kind of thing I will have to answer if I get the question asked to me. Qu'est-ce qu'il faudrait faire? We started with $200. Poor as it gets. I mean, those who are elder than myself know the story of Tanga and pois and milk at school. Because we didn't have enough protein, Dr. Rangula, not the current Prime Minister, his father, Sasiv Sagar Rangula, had to give Your Excellency peach, milk, and a piece of cheese to kids, and some bread. That was the state of Mauritius, just within one generation. Today you find all the branded items here. Superstores being opened, new shopping areas like Bagatelle, etc. And this is within one generation. I mean, is this enough? I'm not talking about branded items only. About achieving things which would kind of truly be the star and key in this part of the world. We have been the star and key. I mean, this is the thing that we'll have to think about. Alors, I like showing this slide because I keep asking my fellow countrymen here and women that we have to increase our level of ambition. This is a country that gets hit by cyclones, although we haven't had many lately, but still. We know how to go through difficult phases of life, and we are good at things that we do. And this is a business of unlocking things that we have here. Parce I think we owe it to our country to try to see qu'est-ce que moi je pourrais faire. I'm not talking about Mr. Kennedy, about doing things for the country, etc. These are very wonderful things, and I say très important. But here, individually, qu'est-ce que j'aurais dû faire to get up to these $20,000, $30,000? Or are we weaker than other people in other countries? Je pense pas. Look around yourselves here. Now I like taking the road that has been built recently, the bypass from Saint-Pierre. When you come towards Eben, you see how beautiful this place looks. And this used to be sugarcane field here. Who built this? It's yourselves. It's ourselves. With some daring, with some vision, with the Prime Minister's wish to have ICT sector, he created a new ministry, ICT ministry, which I happen to be replacing today, I understand, the Minister of Big here. Although, I think I'd like you, if you were to forget everything that we would have talked today, please capture this image here, and let us decide where we would like to be. Should the curve move towards the left or towards the right? Towards the right is here, we can take a crate of beer and go to the beach and take our time and hope in 50 years' time we'll have $20,000 GDP per capita. Or if we decide that we want to do something such that our hospitals give the same care that we get in Singapore, because we can afford it. We can afford 20 billion as opposed to 10 billion that we can afford today. If we feel that our schools, our schools, our universities, the labs at the University of Mauritius would have MRIs in every other corner, like they have in Cambridge. That's a decision that we'll have to take, each one of us here. I think we're a very important group of people sitting here. I think it can happen if we put our minds together. So let's see what happened. We started from sugar. Every 10 years or so, we moved into something else. From sugar, we moved into textiles. Why did we move into textiles? Because there was a difficulty of quotas in Hong Kong. They had used up all their quotas and they had some difficulties. Although we attracted them here, they came, they showed us how to make simple t-shirts. This is a field I do quite well. I studied that subject. And from there, we built the largest manufacturing sector in this country, and still, it is doing well. It still employs nearly 100,000 people, directly and indirectly. Then we moved into services. We started not knowing anything about offshore sector. Today, we still are the highest supplier of foreign direct investment to India. We did well there as well. And we got into new items, new ideas, diamonds, commodities exchange, ICT. And now we would like to add this new pillar, la connaissance, la pensée. It's a thought process. Can I ask you here, how many of you sat and spent 10 minutes last week about where this country could be maybe next year? Don't be shy. This is not a classroom. We are friends here. I'm sure you did, but you're a bit... So this is what I'd like to suggest here. Let the mind work. It's not the computer that makes us. We make the computers. I keep asking students, you know, when I do this Caravane de la Science, I show my BlackBerry. One thing for sure I know, although this is the latest one, you know, as ministers we get good tools here. I know for sure that it's going to be different in 10 years' time. I mean, what is my contribution here in having something different? Am I going to be a passive consumer all the time? Do I have to expect Koreans to build for me? BlackBerry, c'est pas coréen, ça c'est Samsung. Oh, we could start thinking differently. In whatever field we are. On va faire une cours philosophique là. Mais c'est extrêmement important la pensée. If we do not use it as we ought to, I'm not lecturing people here. I'm just telling you what I think and what I see is happening here in this country. But how do you block it? There's a system that blocks this brain of ours. You have to unlock all this. Let it work. Let it be free. Alors, this is the wish here, my dear friends. To keep on moving. And my wish here, our wish here, is to get closer towards the left. That is, gets it there faster than having to wait another, je ne sais combien d'années, to have a much higher quality of life. Alors, one of the things that I have here in my presentation is showing an opportunity about students. Il faudrait que je vous le dise, this business of internationalization, c'est que it is a fact that we would soon have more than 8 million students traveling around the world. Et qu'est-ce qu'on est en train de chercher, nous? We are looking for a very tiny amount, a number in this. Et we have to position ourselves. What would the students decide to come to Mauritius? When we show the ambition that we would like to be among the great nations, who can have Cape Town as the Australia, etc. We didn't even know about Mauritius, all the opportunities in Mauritius. Our kids were studying in South Africa. It is possible in this part of the world. We have to start getting used to this idea. You say, dans ce pays, when somebody suggests something that is bold, people laugh at him or her. People laughed at the founding father of this country when he created the University of Mauritius. Ah là là, pour le prendre la université, différentes universités. But look at the University of Mauritius today. When he decided he wanted to build a motorway, people laughed at him again. Is it gas? Alors, I think we have to kind of see much further than just looking here. C'est possible. Alors, I'm not going to get into the details. You see, this is one potential here in terms of foreign students coming over, studying, and so on to build this sector. And I'll have to admit, you know, the Labour Party has got a weakness for education and the welfare state, etc. How are we going to finance it? Is it sustainable if we don't change? Currently, first degrees at the University of Mauritius are free of fees, academic fees. We don't charge fees there, apart from masters, etc. So how are we going to finance this? Am I going to ask the Ministry of Finance to give me more funds to fund education here? How are we going to fund the public sector? I see an opportunity here. I must say, I have some vested interest here. I need my dollars here to fund the education system. And this is the opportunity I see, which is something that is being done in the United States, in Australia, in UK. Hello, Why not us? Well, I think this, what actually happened in our education system. The University of Mauritius was created in '65. I think, in my humble opinion, the best decision the government could have taken was to provide free education. I can say for sure, if we didn't have free education and free healthcare, I think many of us wouldn't have been here. Seriously, I might be wrong, but this is something that is a fact. S'il n'y avait pas toutes ces facilités-là, I would probably have many children. My parents wouldn't have been able to afford the cost of clinics. And you know what happens when you don't have a proper healthcare system and education and so on. Although that was a very good decision that was taken by Dr. Rampula. 88, the Tertiary Education Commission was set up. Then came up the University of Technology. Then my ministry got in the picture in 2010. We set up a Study Mauritius office, and we had a large number of educational institutions which were registered. I understand that quite a few of them are not in operation, but these are things that we are looking into. We've created 2 universities recently, University of Mascareignes and Open University, 2 new public universities, so that we keep on enhancing the chance to our people. I see the directors of University of Mascareignes were here. This is a university that is going to work very closely with the University of Limoges to offer mainly a French-based education system, but that wouldn't stop you from having other collaborations. Right? They were a bit scared that they'll have to work with one university. Universities don't work only with one institution, but this is the one who are helped with us. But then, as academics, you will be free to choose and decide whether you want to work with others. And in time, we will become the hub that we would like to be. Alors, quels sont les piliers? These are slides produced from the MSA, thanks to DOI and LIFE ministry. Participation, branded institutions, attracting foreign students, quality, talents. Il y a une chose que je dois vous dire. I was talking to the lady from MBC. Just came to my mind. 15 ans de cela, if I had told you that Imperial College would want to collaborate with our Open University and University of Mauritius to offer a master's in public health, would you have believed me? Mais aujourd'hui, c'est comme si we take it for granted. We have the University of Oxford, where today the Vice Chancellor of Oxford University was interested in working with us in the field of research in diabetes. What has changed? Why are these people willing to work with us? I hope you realize that something's happening here to have this bright answer. The world of education is not just Imperial or Oxford. But at least in the league that we would like to be, we have started making some progress in being able to attract these institutions. And this will facilitate the institutions because we would like to be known as a country, although small, but with a high level of ambition for ourselves, for our kids, and for the people in the region. Déjà, on a pas mal d'institutions. I'm not going to get into the detail of this. So let's concentrate to the foreign students. We are now attracting students where they can get their visas quickly. We're building modern campuses. They can work part-time. We're setting up placement cells, accommodation facilities, which is still a challenge, but we are working on that. And we're looking at having prestigious institutions. I have to remind ourselves here that I'm only 2 years old. A bit more than 2 years old as a ministry. They used to call me an SDM because we didn't have an office. I was squatting the Tertiary Education Commission's, conference room. I didn't have an office. Like today we have an office, we have some staff, etc. And it has started moving. Oops. Alors, foreign students, when I joined in, we had about 600. We have combien? 2000? Presque 2000. Not must say. But things have started happening. Why is this happening? And I must congratulate the Board of Investment, Mr. Fania and his team. I don't know if there are others. Our service to merchants in my ministry, we have all these young graduates. And I must thank the operators as well, who take their time, go out, market ourselves. This is pas facile. Sit there all day, show what you have to offer. You come home with only one student in your bag, etc. But that's the way it starts. How did we start marketing our textiles? We had to do the same process. Et bien sûr, c'est pas textile ici. Students will ask you questions, you have to have a marketing department, they want to know about an accreditation process, about quality, about recognition, etc. Et it has started happening. Et là, je pense que la semaine prochaine, on va être en Uganda et Tanzanie. Now there is an element at BOI where they're taking care of marketing brochures overseas. Déjà, from what I've heard, we have more than 50 countries who are present here studying in brochures. Surprisingly, even from Australia, UK, France, India, South Africa, etc. Which I think is a good thing. It has started happening. Alors voilà, qu'est-ce qui se passe? I won't go into the details of the marketing process. Another interesting thing here now is that we have started getting interest for what I call the big boys in commercial economy. Sorry to use the term boys, but the larger groups who have started investing massively. I'm not suggesting that I favor any group, but this has started happening. Et je pense que c'est bien. I like taking the textiles as a reference. You have to have a critical mass for people to come to your country. The same applies to the retail sector. So we have to have a large variety. I can't go market myself as a country, which is serious with only one university of merchants. I have to have a whole range of institutions who have to offer their services in this country. Well, these are sites that we're going to develop. I keep on cutting the question, quand, when finally, but I have 22, I think 21 or 22 committees I have to satisfy before I can start anything as a public person. And I think I've reached the 21st. We are doing the pre-qualification of contractors, then qu'est-ce qu'il y aura encore? Tendering process, then whatever. I'm hoping that in June we'll start. Why am I showing this to you? Parce que this is both for the public and private sector. And I'm going to make a request to you. We have a scheme where our Prime Minister skillfully negotiated 2,000 acres of land. Please, do make your application to my private secretary. Think ahead. Je connais l'histoire des vannes ici. This used to be sugarcane fields. And 15 years ago, je pense quand ça a commencé, pour 15 ans de cela, nobody wanted to take any piece of land here. Now, if you have a piece of land, c'est comme si somebody's done you a favor. The same is going to happen there. It's a question of what we see ahead. I don't know. Now I hear that we are sitting on a continent. Your Excellency, it appears that we might have some diamonds as well. I saw some nice pictures on TV, and my little boy asked me a question this morning. Can I keep those for myself if I find some? Je ne sais pas moi. What is it for the future that lies ahead of us? Even if we don't find these diamonds or this continent, I know the version way of doing things. Moi, je n'ai pas de doute que it will take the time it takes. It will take much longer if we dance towards the right, we go to the beach, etc. But if we do the right things, all these places should be full relatively fast. I'm not talking about 1 or 2 years, about 10, 15 years timeline. And this would be available to the sector. Pas juste pour l'enseignement, pour la recherche, la connaissance. If some of our bright kids decide, for example, they want to be sitting there, having different types of exchanges that we have here next door, communities exchange, is something available to people to use knowledge and create wealth and create employment, etc. I like citing this example, next door here. Do you know how many rupees they're dealing in one day? Does anybody have any idea in the communities exchange? Combien de roupies pensez qu'ils gèrent par jour? Give me a figure. I won't ask you why, because you know these figures. 200. Allez? Give me a figure. Vite, I can't take too much time. Allez? Dr. Boubacar, just give me a figure. I know, being a doctor, you don't talk about money that much, but give me a figure. I hope you have a journalist now. We are ourselves. Yes, madam.
I don't have the very high.
Give me a big figure. 5 million rupees a day? That's a very small amount. Huh? 1 billion, sir. You earn straight yourself. Or maybe no. 1 milliard rupees par jour. I've been Minister of Trade and Industry. I've seen many billions go because I used to buy all the oil. Remember when prices used to go up? Good for me was me. C'est pas moi ça. 1 milliard rupees de, your excellency, 1 billion rupees chiffre d'affaires. That was a few years back. I don't know what it is today. Who would have thought? In fact, this Mr. Jignesh came to see me when I was Minister of Trade and Industry. And I'll admit, I didn't understand anything of what he said. So he wants to sell commodities. He said, oh, we don't have commodities here in Mauritius. Do we have copper? Do we have oil? Do we have wood, timber? Do we have diamonds? But from here, he's trading 1 billion rupees a day. Combien ça fait par an ça? How much space do we need to keep all these dollars? Now, of course, it's all electronically transferred. But how much technology goes into that? Who would be working in that kind of industry? Is the graduates that we are producing. These are kind of things that we have to understand. It is happening. This little village here, that used to be Sugarcane Field, is, if you look at the GDP per capita here, it's probably one of the richest. Maybe one day we'll have to make this calculation of how much wealth is created in this little village nearby. Mais tout ça c'est possible, ça. As I said, it's the mind, la pensée. Alors, well, these are, I think you already know, the various ministries of research. Oceanography at the Prime Minister's level, the Prime Ministry of all the tertiary education institutions, MRC. I don't see Mr. MRC here, Professor. Oh, voilà. He's going to live forever. Venez. I know he's been very busy lately. Alors, Ministère de l'Agro-Industrie, do we have representatives of Ministère de l'Agro-Industrie, Ministère de l'Environnement? You have some very important facilities with the labs, etc. Ministry of Health, which offers a tremendous. Do we have somebody from Health here? Docteur Manian, etc. Yes, you do. I've learned the doctor. Albion Fisheries. Voilà. And Met Office, CSO. Do you have somebody from CSO? These are very important institutions. Alors, ça c'est quoi ça? Gives us an indication of research. Alors, we have talked about access, internationalization. This is research. Qui fait quoi? We have a few, I must say, people who are. If I was to take, for example, biomedical and pharmaceutical sector, we have. I see there has been 73 persons or projects, etc. But you can get all these details. Yeah, I haven't been into all the details of who does what. That just gives an indication of the spread within various sectors. Ça aussi, c'est pas mauvais. Slowly, but surely, on fait un peu de progrès. Il faut un peu de mouvement. I'd like to see an exponential growth. Mais il n'arrive pas assez de ça. I think now,
we have started to go to business together. We have talked enough about it. MRC is looking at some structures. Even MRC now is growing wheat. Je trouve ça excellent, certain initiatives that people are taking. Who would have thought that an institution like MRC would go and test whether wheat can grow in Mauritius? They found an opportunity. We need 200,000 tons of wheat, which is converted into about 100,000 tons of flour. They started the process, and I think now they're going to take another semi-commercial venture. And it's not just research for the sake of getting a PhD. This is applied technology, applied research. Alors, we've had a number of peer-reviewed publications. It's such a problem here. Whatever paper that has been peer-reviewed would not be any different or any lesser in terms of what we can do